Talut story, part number 4. Share if you like the story. At night, when you guys went into the room, I looked inside through the hole in the door and then entered the room through the same hole. Talut said shyly, and I burst out laughing. I had been living with Zareena for 2 days in her hospitality and now I was tired. One morning we were having breakfast together when my eyes fell on a wicker bag standing in front of the door. Akhtar Baig's mouth was open in surprise. I was shocked to see him. Zarina's condition was also worth seeing, but suddenly the witch, who was in the lust of wealth, angrily said to Akhtar Beg, "You are not ashamed to enter someone's house without knocking." Akhtar Beg, who was looking at me with surprise, was lost after seeing Zarina's vengeful tone. Zareena got a good chance to show me the proof of her love. "Go out of my house!" At the same time Zareena shouted, seeing Akhtar Beg. Akhtar Beg, who had been standing silent until now, recovered and angrily said, "Arif, you are with him." "Yes, Akhtar Beg, I know this scene is strange for you, but maybe you don't know that I am Zarina's first and last love. I stole into your office to stop your marriage. I worked as oil on fire." Akhtar Beg would sometimes look at me and sometimes at Zareena, and in this condition he would walk out of the house with his steps backwards. "Zareena, how did it come? Was the door open?" I asked. "If not, I checked the lock of the door myself at night. This person may have come home today because I did not go to the office yesterday." "Just Arif, now I don't want to stay here. You take me to your state and I want to live in your palace," Zareena thought and replied in an emotional tone. "Okay, I'll take you out of here soon." I held his chin and said. Half an hour must have passed when the door started banging. I was shocked. "Who is this?" Zareena got up grumbling and opened the door. "The police," my mind alarmed. And at that moment 2 or 3 policemen entered and ran straight towards me and stopped me. Seeing the police, I lost my legs. "Who else is in the house?" the officer asked in a commanding manner. "Babbas, there are only 2 of us, mother has gone somewhere today." Zareena, who was watching the police arrest me with tearful eyes, stammered, Yes, so that both of you can celebrate well." The officer said, "Let's go to Thane Arif, you are arrested for stealing." The officer said, and the soldiers pulled me up. My legs were shaking. "And miss, you also come along." The officer said, "Why me? I have not committed any crime," Zareena said in a haughty manner. The policemen were listening and put us in their car and reached the police station. I was taken out of the car and presented in front of a senior officer to whom I clearly told that Zareena is innocent in the matter of theft. The officer was adamant that I belonged to a big gun. I stood silently listening to all this. After some time, I was locked in an empty lockup and Zareena was taken somewhere else. When I reached the lockup, I took a deep breath. Everything was as I expected. I sat on the floor and leaned against the wall. And I started thinking that my mind was clear. I had changed. Akhtar Beg's marriage with Zareena was not expected at all. I had done everything right and my friend had fully supported me. And along with that, the idea of Talut came to my mind. I had forgotten my friend in all this trouble. My heart beat faster. "Talut," I said slowly. "Yes, dear." Talut's voice echoed in my ears, and I breathed a sigh of relief. My worries were over immediately. Talut was sitting in front of me with a thermos in one hand and 2 cups in the other. A big potli was lying in front of him. I ran and hugged him. Hey, the coffee will fall. I have been following you and the policeman for a long time with this thermos full of coffee," Talut said laughingly, and I burst out laughing. "Drink this coffee and get out of here," Talut said. "What is this in potli?" I asked, pointing to the potli kept by him. "In this potli are the ornaments that you gave to Zareena. If these jewels were left with her, there was no loss for her. She would have thought that the price of 2 days and the fight with Akhtar Beg was not expensive, so I thought, why not give these jewels to someone in need instead?" "Waqf tam," Talut said. "Hey man, I didn't even think about this." "Are you right?" I answered. "Pick it up," Talut pointed at potli. I picked up the potli, Talut and I stood up. "Let's go from here," Talut said, and just as his sentence was completed, the scene changed and I felt the open air. I looked around. What does it mean that we even came out and I didn't even know? I looked surprised. If you had known, my powers would have been in the dust and there would be no order, my friend. By Talut, he said with a smile and bowed his neck. I was overwhelmed with emotion. Come on, maybe this is a park. Sit in the flower bed and enjoy the fragrant air here. Talut held my hand and moved forward. Talut, I called him in an emotional way. Speak life of Talut. Talut replied, you will never leave me. There was moisture in my eyes. Talut stopped and looked at me and said, John Talut, you are thinking like the world and mood of your people. Talut put his hand on my shoulder. Our mood is completely different from yours. Our friendship and enmity are very durable. I had made a friend Talut who died in his childhood, so I adopted his name out of love for him. Now I have made you a friend and I promise that I will not leave you all my life and I will stay with you. Talut said in a very serious tone while wiping the moisture from my eyes with his hands. I promise I will never leave you, but you also have to make a promise. Talut said, what? I asked happily. Although I am fiery, but despite this, I am not free from mistakes. You may get heartbroken by me sometimes, so on this occasion you will explain and forgive me. Talut was serious. Promise my friend, promise. I hugged Talut. Be happy and attain happiness in the circle of humanity and when death comes, die happily. Talut said, okay, my friend, traffic is over from today. I was happy. Talut, the atmosphere of this country will not come to me. So go somewhere else. Talut said in an excited tone, interrupting me. Yes, this is what I want, my friend. Tell me one thing, as you brought me out of jail in a moment, we can reach another country in the blink of an eye. I asked, actually, it is not difficult for me, but I want to travel and feel this journey. If I go to another country by my own strength, I will miss the fun and experience of travel. Talut vowed, then I have a suggestion. You two live with a human form and status and enjoy. I advised, okay, no problem, but my appearance will be different from yours. I don't want people to be attracted to us. Talut said, you are absolutely right. I said, well, look at that, that's right, Talut said and put his hand on his face. A completely different face was in front of me. No, your nose is too long. I said, tell me now. Talut said this and removed his hand from his face. A spotted face was in front of me. Now tell me the features. Talut's voice came. Curly hair, I said. Golden curly hair was woven. I swallowed in surprise and said, bright shining almond eyes with blue in the pupils. The eyes on Spot's face started to shine. Seventh nose, beautiful lips, oval chin, full cheeks. I continued to speak and a few moments later a very handsome young man was standing in front of me. I kept looking at her. My heart was not able to take my eyes off this face. Wow, beautiful. I could not stop praising. Now you are trying. I said, what should I do now? Talut asked. Now to leave this country some essential things are needed like visa, passport and some things. I said, you understand this for Rasim, he can understand these matters better than me. Talut said and said with a crooked neck. Rasim, Prince Huzur is present. Rasim was in front at that time. I have to provide whatever goods my friend asks. Talut said to Rasim, and I started to explain this mysterious slave of my friend. After listening to my talk, he said in a very polite tone, I will provide these things, but I am not familiar with these things, so I will get these items from the same people who make these things. I will provide these things tomorrow. Of course, give it tomorrow. I told Rasim and Rasim disappeared as he had come. Comments will be awaited. Many prayers for you. Greetings.